This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Friday, the 11th day of March in the year 2022. I'm Gordon Mosley, and here's what we're tracking tonight. Today marks 2 years since Guyana recorded its first COVID-19 case and death. The first case was that of a New York-based Guyanese woman who had traveled to Guyana. She died at the Georgetown Hospital a few hours after being taken there with severe symptoms. 2 years later, the country has recorded 1,224 deaths and over 63,000 cases. The deadliest month for the pandemic in Guyana was September of 2021, when 173 persons lost their lives to the virus. The month with the highest number of new cases was this past January, when a whopping 20,536 new cases were recorded. But the number of new cases and deaths has been declining ever since then. In the past 24 hours, a total of 20 new cases were recorded, pushing the total number of new cases recorded in the past 10 days to just over 200. Health officials believe the country's vaccination drive has aided in the slowing down of the spread of the virus. A total of 332,605 adults have been fully vaccinated against COVID, representing 65% of the adult population. The total number of persons given the first dose of one of the vaccines stands at more than 435,000. Today, officials of the Ministry of Health observed a minute of silence and reflected on those who lost their lives to COVID-19. The Minister of Health in his daily update today reminded that now is not a time for persons to become complacent.
Well, I think one of the things that people ought to understand is that even if you get COVID now and you get a milder form of COVID, it does not prevent you from getting post-COVID syndrome, because the virus itself can infect almost any part of the body. So in some people, we have seen manifestation of COVID after the acute phase of the infection, that they can have problems with the virus getting into their brain, and it creates inflammation in the brain, which results in things like brain fog, confusion, and a whole host of other problems, sleeping disorders and all kinds of things. In some people who would have got past the acute phase, they can have heart problems, and we have seen COVID mimic heart attacks and create a lot of problems with people.
The health minister said while the numbers are significantly declining, persons still need to safeguard themselves against COVID-19.
You can have lung diseases. So there are a whole host of problems that even after you get through the acute phase, that this thing can be there for many months after. With vaccination, it makes a big difference, because all the evidence have shown that people who are vaccinated, even if they get COVID, they'll get a milder form, but it would also prevent them from getting post-COVID syndrome, or all these lingering effects after an acute infection from COVID. And I think that's a really great benefit to have. So if people have not been vaccinated, this is something that they should think about and go and get vaccinated.
Guyana is the only country within CARICOM to have built a dedicated hospital to deal with severe COVID-19 cases. The frontline workers who continue to lend their support to the fight against COVID-19 continue to be praised for their work. More news coming up in just a moment.
How fast is fiber? Think fast. GTT Fiber has 3 packages with download speeds of 50, 100, and 150 megabits per second. That's fast enough to stream movies and music, to chat with Gran and Fran, to study, and more. What would you do? Upgrade to GTT Fiber today and don't get left behind tomorrow. Live your fantasy at Fantasy Gaming Lounge. Win big daily. Millions in cash prizes every week. Now located at Giftland Mall, Fantasy Gaming Lounge, the best bet in town.
Social media is a great way to stay connected, and let's face it, who doesn't like likes? Whether you're showing off that great outfit or celebrating a work promotion, your first priority should be staying safe online. So shop only on secure websites, those with URLs that begin with HTTPS. Never overshare, including your location with strangers online. Configure your Facebook privacy settings to only share your photos and other personal information with family and close friends. You can be social, but it's important to be safe online.
In just 2 years, oil production earned Guyana a whopping $608 million. These funds are being used to build bridges, roads, and other infrastructure to improve the lives of all Guyanese.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL?
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, Buster $100. Come get your Buster, Buster $100.
Welcome back. An argument between two brothers turned deadly late last night when the younger brother was stabbed to death by the older one. The dead brother has been identified as Moses Anthony. The older brother has since been arrested and is likely to face a murder charge in the new week. His name has been given as Richard Anthony. Both men lived in 3rd Street, Albertown. The incident took place at around 9:30 last night. According to reports, the younger brother, Moses Anthony, arrived at the family's property and was heavily intoxicated and started to bang on the door. The older brother was awakened from his sleep by the noise that was being made, and the two got into a fight. The two men started punching at each other in the upper flat of the house and made their way to the bottom flat. Eyewitnesses said the younger brother was eventually seen bleeding from a stab wound and he collapsed in the yard. He was taken to the hospital where he died. The older brother was immediately arrested and taken into custody. The suspect's wife explained that the two men always had disagreements, but she never expected it to end in death.
I tell the brother stop it, the brother won't stop, the brothers keep telling me that this gonna end now. And people try for hold the brother down for not running to you, and then when he push you down there, he runs straight into you. When he runs straight into you, he start bleeding, and then he fall down there. He fall down there, he start bleeding. I can't take this. This is too much for me.
The incident is still being investigated by the police. The 19-year-old driver who was behind the steering wheel of a speeding car that ran off of the roadway and slammed into 3 men at the Willem, killing them instantly, has been charged for causing death by dangerous driving. The accused, Matthew David Ambedkar of Tushin East Bank, Essequibo, appeared before Magistrate Sipol Ali at the Lenora Magistrates Court earlier today, and he was not required to enter a plea to the indictable charges. According to the prosecutor, on the night of the 7th of March, the teenager was speeding along the Willem Public Road when he lost control of his motor car and slammed into a bar and 3 men standing at the roadside. The 3 men were pitched onto the roadway and died from multiple injuries caused by the accident. They were identified as 23-year-old Carlito Gopinlal, who worked at the bar, and fishermen 44-year-old Ayub Mohammed and 41-year-old Kiran Ramprasad. During the court appearance, the accused did not say anything as the details of the charges were read to the court. He was immediately remanded to jail until the continuation of the case on the 24th of March. Ambedkar also suffered injuries as a result of the accident, but was treated for those injuries earlier this week. In its initial report of the accident, the Guyana Police Force said investigators found no trace of alcohol in the man's system, but it is believed that he was racing at the time of the crash. Well, as the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit, KANU, steps up its fight against narco-trafficking, 2 men were taken before the court today on drug trafficking charges, and they had both been remanded to jail. The 2 were held earlier this week following a $6 million cocaine bust in the Tuckville area. Appearing in court today, 43-year-old Devon Simon and 35-year-old Winston Hazel pleaded not guilty to trafficking more than 12 pounds of cocaine. The chief magistrate was told by the prosecutor that on the 8th of March, the men were found with the cocaine in their possession for the purpose of trafficking. They were reportedly held during a KANU operation which found the illegal drugs stashed in a car that they were in. The men were questioned and arrested while the parcels of cocaine were confiscated by KANU. The chief magistrate ordered the 2 men remanded to jail until the continuation of the case later this month. 5 days into the national continuous registration process, the Guyana Elections Commission has announced that it will allow unvaccinated persons between the ages of 14 and 17 years old to access its offices to be registered. Under its initial advisory, GCOM was requiring all persons eligible for registration to be fully vaccinated or to present a recent negative COVID-19 test result before they are allowed access to its offices for registration purposes. The requirement will remain in place for those persons who are 18 years and older. In a statement today, the Elections Commission said its guidelines were prepared in accordance with the provisions of the Public Health Ordinance and its guidance on COVID-19 in the workplace. GCOM said in recognition of the fact that many persons in the 14 to 17 years old age range might not have been able to get vaccinated for want of being in possession of national ID cards because they were never registered, a decision was taken to waive the vaccination requirement for that age group. The Commission said the decision was taken in consultation with the respective chief scrutineers of the APNU-AFC Coalition and the People's Progressive Party. The registration process comes to an end at the end of May. Mobil Special and all other Mobil lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Mobil Special and all other Mobil lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc.
In addition to 2% royalty, did you know that Guyana earns 50% of the profits from oil production? More than any one of the Stabroek Block co-venturers, ExxonMobil, Hess and Sinnock. And by 2026, the government is expected to export 50 million barrels of oil per year, which can earn as much as $4 billion.
Live your fantasy at Fantasy Gaming Lounge. Win big daily. Millions in cash prizes every week. Now located at Giftland Mall, Fantasy Gaming Lounge, the best bet in town.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, Buster $100. Come get your Buster, Buster $100.
People may forget the present you bought for them, but they'll never forget your scent. Find your signature fragrance at Elite Fragrances and Trade-In, located at 123 Region Road Border between Ornock Street and Shiv Shandapal Drive. Call 619-5151 or 227-1255. Get a designer fragrance for yourself or loved one that they will never forget.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight in Trinidad, the International Monetary Fund has said the persistent foreign exchange shortages in the Twin Island Republic have highlighted the need to reform the foreign exchange market infrastructure in the country. The IMF made a statement following its executive board's conclusion of consultations with Trinidad back in February. In a statement, the IMF said while the authorities' commitment to maintaining a stable peg seems well understood by market participants, the mechanisms to ensure a well-functioning foreign exchange market could be improved to reduce uncertainty. It set a proliferation of special purpose facilities at the Exim Bank to prioritize foreign exchange access to manufacturers, importers of necessities, including state-owned enterprises, have produced a hybrid exchange rate which is prone to inefficiencies. The IMF staff encouraged the authorities to regularly review the current system to ensure its appropriateness and recommended modernizing the foreign exchange and money markets in Trinidad to replace the special purpose windows at the Exim Bank to reduce those inefficiencies and to support the sustainability of the existing arrangement. Grenada has announced that it has temporarily suspended the acceptance of new applications from citizens from Russia and Belarus for its Citizenship by Investment program. The move, which took immediate effect, comes amid Russia's continued invasion of Ukraine. In a statement, the government of Grenada said it is closely monitoring the current situation in Ukraine and will advise of any further changes to its current policy on the matter. The Grenadian government said it is appreciative of the understanding in the matter as they strive to preserve the integrity and reputation of the Grenada Citizenship by Investment program. The CBI program in Grenada allows individuals and their families to obtain citizenship or permanent residence in exchange for making a payment into the National Transformation Fund or towards an approved real estate project on the island. Dominican, Antigua and Barbuda governments, which also have similar CBI programs, previously suspended applications from nationals of Russia and its ally Belarus. Antigua also included Ukrainians on its list of nationals for whom its CBI program would be put on hold. Grenada, Dominican, Antigua and Barbuda were among 141 UN member states that voted last week to condemn Russia. And finally tonight, international news. India says it accidentally fired a missile into Pakistan on Wednesday, blaming the incident on a technical malfunction during routine maintenance. Delhi said it was deeply regrettable and expressed relief that no one was killed. Pakistan's military said a high-speed flying object had crashed near the eastern city of Mianchanu, and its flight path had endangered passenger flights. Both countries have nuclear weapons. In a statement, India's defense ministry said on the 9th of March, in the course of routine maintenance, a technical malfunction led to the accidental firing of a missile. The government of India has taken a serious view and ordered a high-level court of inquiry. Islamabad warned Delhi to be mindful of the unpleasant consequences of such negligence and to avoid a repeat. The object had been launched from Sirsa in the Haryana state. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight and this week. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.